Hmm. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday free training on this. On emotions, negative emotions, how to get rid of negative emotions. Welcome, welcome, and thank you, Coach Allan, for taking his precious time to be here.
Thanks for having me, Miss Wong.
The Yeah, you're amazing. Just want to let you know and everybody know.
Aw,
Okay,
so are
so
you.
thank you
Pleasure.
everyone for being here because I know you wanted to become better, and I know it's not for yourself, for all the loved ones in your life. So we're excited to share with you, something I find magical in helping us get better. And one of the techniques that I know how to become better is removing our trauma from the past. Trauma, when I meant trauma means negative emotions, negative pain, memories that we experienced in the past that cause us to feel angry, sad, fear, hurt, and guilt. And a lot of those emotions actually um, were not learned, um, with intention. A lot of them we acquire um, accidentally, and some we didn't know better, and others experienced by our loved ones, our parents, our friends, our teachers, someone who we surrounded with in the past. And it doesn't matter how we acquire them, but the goal is somehow they got into our life, our head, and they don't seem to serve us. And why keep things when they don't serve us, right? So, and that's the reason we want to be here to share with you, to get rid of the things, emotion that no longer serve us. And today's uh, session is about how they got into us. I already mentioned a few. We learned them through our parents, through our environment. And Coach Allan's going to explain to you how to release them. Okay, so instead of having them in your subconscious, in your head, we often make us feel um, what you call it, heavy, or those negative feelings um, disrupted, it interfere with our energy, right? Their anger, negative emotions, well, we consider them negative energy if they stay in us. Well, they're, there are times that we have to show up with those, you know, anger moments. They serve us momently, but if they tend to take away our energy permanently, um, that's why we don't want them in our life. All right. So, Coach Allan, take it over and you can explain detailedly how we can release this kind of energy so we can become the woman, the man we want to. All right. So, thank you, Coach Allan.
Yeah, thanks, Miss
Take it
Wong.
over.
Yeah. Well, folks, thanks so much for being here. I appreciate the time and spending with all of you. A quick heads up that I'm going to give the how-to. I'm going to spend a few minutes on that, and I just put my timer on just to make sure that I'm in a timely manner. But also, I'm going to give it back to Helen because Helen's going to provide a story on how she managed to use this for herself. I'm not sure which one she's going to use, but that's the fun part. It's going to be a great
There's
surprise.
so many.
And she's got so many to choose from, right? And it's because we have so much experience between her helping me transform, to me helping her transform, to us helping our clients, even our families. You know, we've got relatives and family that to this day, every week, I use this technique on my daughter because my daughter's young. She's coming up into the world as a young adult. And you know, if you're a parent, if you're somebody who's raising a children, or has children, you know just as well as we do that we've got fears about our kids growing up. We want to make sure that they're successful in whatever they go after. that they're healthy, that they're happy, but also the kids. Oftentimes, they've got fears growing up. And as parents, we kind of just expect them to know, like, hey, we went through it, we went through the struggle. We know how to figure that out for ourselves to a degree. At least that's what we tell ourselves, right? And we just expect that our kids can manage the way we have growing up as well. Now we're learning that that model of thinking was somewhat effective throughout the years growing up. But for many of us, it also came with a lot of trauma. It also came with a lot of hurt, anger, sadness, pain that we really didn't have to go through. It's just pre-internet. There was not a lot of information going around about how to handle this kind of stuff. So we were just expected to know, despite the fact that trauma usually, and I say trauma as in like, when you think about a thought and you go back to that memory, there's still a lot of negative emotions attached to it. So much that sometimes it alters the decisions we want to make a quality life for us, ourselves in the present and future. Like that's what I mean by trauma. It was just expected that we would have those and live through it. Whereas now we're realizing, well, yeah, it's possible, but it makes life harder. And why would any parent want to make life so much harder for their children if instead they can create a pathway for their children to follow? So it's not just, handed over like a silver platter, easy. No. But instead, they have their own hurdles and challenges, but we can help provide better answers, better equip them to go after the thing that they want. And that's really what this technique is all about. It's about being able to take things that hold us back based on past experiences and cut the tie, the emotional tie that we have from that past thing, so it no longer holds us back. And instead, we can just quantum leap. We can catapult forward into that thing that we want in our future. And to make a long story short, in terms of how this works, so I can also give it back to Helen and she can provide you with a story. How it really works is this. The conscious and the subconscious mind work in two different operating modes. Conscious mind processes 128 bits of information per second. The subconscious can process 2 million. It's a much bigger processor, storage, memory bank, etc. Problem: most of the time we try to make decisions and changes and habits here, hoping that it goes to subconscious where all the habits are created and stored. Problem with that: it's tough to go through here. Going through here, changing here is like wanting to go after a goal, but instead of an uphill battle, it's an uphill battle with a 200-pound backpack duct taped to your back. It's possible to get up that hill, but it's horrendously much harder than just going up the hill alone. And the reason is because emotions have weight that literally feels heavy on our bodies. It gets heavy in our mind. It's almost like, imagine, forget weight even, it's almost like a blocker. Imagine that I'm trying to have a conversation with you, and the whole time I'm trying to talk to you, but I'm covering the screen like this. And all this is just a blocker that stops you from seeing me, that stops me from seeing you, that stops us from communicating to each other in the most effective way. Well, this represents something that gets in your pathway to go after what you want. Because oftentimes, let's say, for example, we want to go after that goal of like, I want to be healthier. I want a wonderful body. I want to make more money. I want to find the love of my life. Well, if we're going uphill like that, a lot of times the things that blocks us is the thing from the past, something that we thought of, experienced, or learned to believe in, probably from a mom, a dad, or a guardian, or a friend. Well, imagine if that thing from our past keeps popping up. That's like you looking in the mirror and just seeing a reflection of yourself, but a reflection of yourself from who you were, who you used to be. As long as you see that reflection of who you were, how are you going to be able to see who you're meant to become, or who you're meant to be in the future? Because we always change, right? Every 5 years, we as people are supposed to change. We change internally, our organs change, the cells in our brains change, the skin, the bones change. Not even every 5 years. It's much sooner than that. But most of us notice it on average about every 5 years. So if we can't see who we're going to be, how are we supposed to get there? Well, we can't if we have a reflection of ourselves that's constantly in front of our face, reminding us of who we were and the fears that we had and the experiences that we, felt and went through that make us believe that we can't have that. The technique that we use in order to sever that connection from our past is what we refer to as an emotional detox. And we call it emotional detox because everybody understands what a detox is, right? Like, what is a detox? A detox is where in your body you have things, you have cells, you have different kinds of accumulations in your body that we either ingested or that we just accumulated from day-to-day life through our skin. And a detox is where those things that we don't want in our body get removed, they get ejected, either through sweat or through excretion or through just different parts of our body that allow those things to just get rid of themselves. But that's on a physical level. Like, we understand that if we run, if we go into a sauna, we sweat. If we sweat, there's certain things in the sweat that come out of us that we don't want to have. That's physical. We get that. So how do we do that mentally? Well, we do that mentally by first understanding the answers are not here. They're here. By using an emotional detox, all we do is we allow the client that we work with to run through an exercise that we guide them through. It's almost like a guided meditation. And through this guided meditation, we help them unlock certain parts of their past that they forgot. In most cases, they forgot it was even there. And we help them resurface those old experiences, but we don't have them live in it because it hurts. It's a painful experience usually. Instead, we have them disassociate. It's what we call disassociate, where they can see the memory or they can experience it here, but they're looking at it from up here or over here or away. In other words, they're not part of that experience. They're just kind of seeing it almost like looking at something through a window. You know, when you're looking at something drastic through your car window, that's very different from if you're actually standing in that drastic situation, right? Very different. There's a disconnect. So we create that. And through another process that we call reframing, all we do is we get them to see that situation from a different perspective. In other words, I've done this several times. I'll do it again. If you can see this represents a loonie, a Canadian dollar, and you see the tail side. Well, if the tail side has a negative experience or negative feeling, we help them find the flip side of that coin, which is the heads. Now, this is a really simplistic explanation, but what we've discovered is if an individual can find a new meaning, have it mean something more empowering, something different, something that they can believe in, that they consciously can't always create, but their unconscious, the 2 million bits per second processor, can always accomplish, then instantly what happens is their emotions just shift. We don't actually create the emotional change. The client does. We just happen to help them get there. So again, I know that sounds almost like, okay, well, I have an idea of how that might work. But now, to help you understand it further, I'm going to bring it back to Helen. So Helen can explain a story to you of how she managed to help one of our clients or somebody that we know personally make that shift from feeling something so negative, so painful in their life. And within a matter of literally minutes, I'm talking like 40 minutes, usually we average about 40 minutes to an hour and a half. One time, in most cases, not all, but in most, Helen and I have produced amazing results where somebody was feeling so bad about themselves, about their situation, about a circumstance, and on one session, they reduced that pain themselves by over 50%. By over 50%, one time. Something that Helen and I have seen masters do but we didn't even know that was something we could do until over the past couple of years. And now you get a chance to experience it as well. So, Helen, go ahead. Without further ado, please share with us a story about how we managed to help somebody transform in just one time.
Well, there's so many stories, Coach Allan. So many. Let's tell about my own story. I mean, like people can witness the proof themselves. For myself personally, I have to say, for the longest time, almost 3-4 years, I have this fear going live on social media. Normally, it would take me hours just to prepare myself to go on live. Like, should I press the button? What am I going to talk about? What are people going to think? Is it going to be good enough? What if they already know? A lot of overthinking. And at the end, often I have to tell you, you probably know this already. Did you do that live video? I would say no. I would come up with all the excuses. And this is the truth, right? For the longest time, 3 years, and I would always ask now, why it is taking me so long to get comfortable going live. I should get this over very, very soon. And then because of NLP techniques that we learned, and ever since we applied that on me, we've moving the thing that I discovered that was holding me from going live easily. Right now, I can just press live, like without even thinking. When I'm on it, I can talk about anything without feeling someone's going to tell me that your video is not good enough. Sometimes I did do it and I would just leave it out there without deleting. In the past, I would go on live and talk, and I would delete it if I looked at, oh no, what people gonna think. But now I just left it there and not worry about it. So that's my own story, how this technique helped me get over things that prevented me from being comfortable on social media. And I learned that it was something I learned in the past, all the way in the past when I was young. My mom was was a traditional Asian woman, and she held certain belief in me, not sharing your weaknesses in public. So I held that belief for the longest time. And ever since I have that release, changed the meaning of it. And now I actually love going on social media and share. The only thing that I was worried about is maybe because, no, the only thing I worry about, maybe because something else, but not afraid of sharing. Maybe because maybe I'm not prepared the right content, and that was it. Nothing more. Not afraid of whether it is the correct thing or what people think about it. So that's a big breakthrough for me because that's something I wanted to do for the longest time.
Nice. And how long did it take for you to make the shift?
Wow, we started this how long? 4 years ago. 4 years ago.
That was when you decided to get online. Yeah. But how long did it take for you to shift from being fearful of making your live videos on social to no longer feeling that fear?
I would say a couple of sessions. So 2 sessions of 2 or 3 hours, and that's it. Versus, I mean, people can get over that fear. That might take another 4 years or my 5 years, right? So
right.
The technique really helped, really helped.
Right. And so how long ago was that we did the work on you to make that shift?
A few months ago, basically, when I started using the techniques on you, and then of course they work on you, I'm going to work on me too. Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how's it been ever since? How do you feel now when you make videos regularly?
It feels good. It feels amazing that I can share and not worry about what people think. And if they make a mistake, it gives me more compassion to feel other people. It helped me forgive myself, and if I can forgive my own mistakes and accept who I am, it gave me a chance to accept everyone else and, in the world, other human, and not judge them. That's the most beautiful thing.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So how does that help you with, confidence and being comfortable in your own skin now compared to before when we didn't do this work and you were trying to make videos for your social?
You have to use a lot of willpower. So much willpower. It's like there's confidence in you, there's love in you, but then they're covered with layers and layers of fear, pain, other pain. You can still take them out, confident and then other things out, but it's just harder, right? Using so much willpower and it just drains your energy. But now it's so natural.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
It is so natural, isn't it? So how
Yeah.
do you feel now when you make it and it feels so natural? What does that feel like for you?
Well, that means you can go after you go faster. Like the wall is clear. Yeah,
Right. And what
yeah.
happens to you when a fear comes up about making video? Because it still comes up once in a while, I'm assuming.
Uh, yeah, of course, because in the past there was so much fear, so many layers of it. And for example, they were all gone, right? So right now it's we will always encounter fear, everything. But instead of like 10 things that I have to tackle, now I just have to tackle one.
Right. And how does
Yeah.
that help? How does that help you?
Or instead of taking 90% of my time, no, my 90% of my energy, now I can give it only 10% of my energy. I have another 80% of energy to do something else.
Right.
That's massive, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, folks, in short, what Helen's really saying is that the things that used to hold her back and it felt like such a mountain to climb over now is like a little molehill. That if she feels that fear, it's no longer this big. It might start this way, but her brain is now programmed to just shut that fear down to something that's very, very bite sized. And I know that sounds like, if you've never done this kind of work, if you've never had that kind of experience, I know it can almost sound like woo woo because I thought it, Helen thought it. And then we start believing that, okay, yeah, it's possible for them, for other people, but no way it's going to be possible for us to experience that. Like us, like whatever, like you got to be kidding me. Until it did happen. And that's why we put on these calls, because we want you to know that it's possible for you too. That if you have something that's holding you back, whether it's pain regarding your kids and it stops you from having a great connection and relationship with them, because every time you hear them say something or see them do something, you might get triggered in a negative way. Or if you have a fear of getting back out there in the market because you're recently single, we're noticing a lot more divorced people are going through divorces right now. And that's a reality for a lot of people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. Like, oh my God, I'm at this age. I never thought I'd have to go, like, not me, but we hear this. I never thought I'd have to be out there again on the market trying to find a partner. Holy crap, it's scary out there. We hear that often too. Maybe you're going through that. Or maybe you're going through a career change where you're either stuck in a place you don't want to be, or you're stuck in a business that you don't want or a job you don't want. And you're like, wait a minute, I want something more. Like I'm good here, but I know that my life is meant for something more. Something, I don't know what it is, but something more. But I'm scared to get out there and do it because I don't know. I've done this job for so long. I don't know anything else. If you're any of those or something else, I'm telling you from personal experience, 99% of what we've experienced in terms of change is possible. You, just like anybody else, like Helen and I, you just got to know what is a technique that you can use that's applicable for you, that's simple to use, and does not require you to go diving back into that pain, that painful past of whatever you experienced that now creates a holdback for you to catapult yourself forward to that next level of your life success, whether again, that's for money or relationships or for fitness, health, whatever it is that you want. All of us get hold back. Usually we start by saying, oh, it's everything else's fault. But eventually when we really dig down, we realize, oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, that contributes, but really it's because I have a fear. If you're that kind of person that believes that you've got something here and you're ready to let it go, you're ready to try something that's outside the box, something that you probably haven't experienced in your day-to-day life, we encourage you, we invite you to go over to our site, research it yourself. That website again is, Helen?
Emotional Enlightenment Consultant, or emotionaldetox.ca.
Emotionaldetox.ca. That's the site
Yes.
you want to go to. All right, that's the other site is applicable too. Some people have a hard time typing all that in though, so that's why we came up with this other one. And it brands the actual technique that we use. Emotional detox is the system that we use. It's a methodology, and it's something that 99% of people can use for themselves. They just got to learn how. If you're interested to learn how to use this for yourself, or if you're interested in practitioners like Helen and me helping you, just go to our site, take a look around. Lots of it free of information there. Lots of good testimonials of real people. Everything that you want to know about in terms of the method is there. Go ahead and take a look. And if you have questions, there is a contact us box on the site. Feel free to go and click that and ask us whatever you want. We usually reply within 24 hours or less. Right, Helen?
Okay. Yes, yes. Yeah, thank you, Coach Allan. Thank you, thank you. I know we all born with greatness and a lot of love, a lot of confidence. We're like babies, right? Babies only born with two kind of fear of falling and fear of loud noises. The rest are all confidence, joy, happiness. But along the way, something happened. We learned by environment, impacted us, coded with us certain emotions that no longer serve us. So it's time to get rid of them. So love, joy, confidence comes back out, so we can go after what we want and serve our purpose.
Totally agree. Totally agree. We've learned how to break past many of our plateaus and go after our life purpose. And now, if you're that kind of person that wants to do it as well, you can too. You just got to take that first step, learn how to do it. And if you don't know other people that understand and know this technique, come and start with us. We'll be glad that you did.
Thank you, everyone, for being here with us. Hope to see you soon.
Absolutely. Thanks again for being here. Helen, thank you for your time as well. And folks,
thank you, Coach Allan.
Thank you so much. Everybody have a great night. Thanks for being here. Talk to you soon.